Okay, so we're standing with our feet. So go. Let's start with a bow. Let's start with a bow. Let's start with a bow. So heels together. Bow to the beach, to the sea, and then bow to each other. I think Sam's gone again. So you stand with your feet about the same distance as your hips or your shoulders apart, feet parallel to each other. Imagine you have a long ponytail on the top of the head that's tied up to the ceiling or tied up to the heavens. So the feeling as if you are suspended from above. Your pelvic area is tilted forwards, feels like it's hanging down from that suspension from above. Sitting down, like you're sitting down onto a high stool and relaxing, releasing into your legs like you would if you were sitting down. Okay, visualize a ball in your belly, about 3 finger widths below the belly button and in the center of the body. A fist-sized ball, closer to the spine than to the front of the body. And you're neutralizing the weight of your upper body down through that ball, down through the legs and into the ground. Put your mind, your awareness into that ball in the belly and just start to turn it from side to side. Turning it from side to side. So quite a small movement at your center, bigger movement at your waist, even bigger movement at your fingertips. Turning, turning, turning. Turning, turning, turning. And I'm doing it like this for the moment. So as I turn onto that supporting leg, the hip is more closed than open. So you're folding in the inguinal crease as you sink down to that supporting leg. The knee goes forwards, the hip goes backwards, so you're feeling the natural shock-absorbing properties of your legs. When the leg is at its fullest, you have more weight towards the rear of the foot. We divided each foot, we've worked on that, divided each foot into 2 triangles. The triangle from the ankle to the heel to the balls of the feet, from the ankle to the balls of the feet to the toes. Those 2 triangles, when the leg is at its fullest, have about 70% of the weight towards that triangle at the rear of the foot, 30 towards the triangle at the front of the foot. And soften the insteps. Turning, turning, turning. Floating across this area that we call the quad, across the heads of the thigh bones and the pelvic floor, floating through that area like a boat floats through water, so slightly submerged, but floating across the surface freely. Turning, turning, turning. Really let go of control of the arms or the shoulders. Just loosen up, spinning away any tension you might have accumulated in your day so far, just spinning that out through the fingers, or down from the shoulders, down through the arms, out through the fingers into infinity. Spin it away. And start to let the heel follow the sideways movement of the rest of the body. So the heel coming off the ground, pulling it round. We know we're not just tensing from all the hip flexor muscles, we're pulling that around using the connective tissue. So just pulling it around, just following the movement of the waist. Sinking down into this empty stance. Empty stance, sinking down. Sinking down. Feel yourself rolling between those 2 triangles of the feet, activating the plantar fascia, the connective tissue that runs along the soles of the feet, some of the thickest, strongest fascia in the body. Fascia. Sinking down. And then make the hands into hollow fists. Bring the hands up in front of you. The heel's still coming off the ground, but not as much as it was in the previous exercise, because you're not turning your waist as much. The heel's still coming off the ground. Really feel the strength of the earth coming up through the body and going out to the fists. Make sure it's not going out through the ribs or out through the chest. So sink the ribs to fill the lower back. Sink the chest to round the upper back. Feel like you're sinking down to a trampoline and bouncing out. Sinking down and bouncing out. Sending that bounce up through the body and out to the fingertips or out to the fists. Like a horse rearing up onto its hind quarters, its front legs and hoofs in the air, its mane fluttering in the wind, standing tall, confident, proud, not egotistical pride, the pride of good self-esteem, good feeling of self-worth. Then open up the hands, bring one hand over the shoulder, the other hand onto the lower back, tapping the shoulder with the palm, tapping the lower back with the back of the hand, just throwing your arms up. Throwing one hand over the shoulder, one hand behind your back. So just controlling your arms with the movement of the waist and the strength of the earth. Okay, now let this settle down on its own, settling down. Okay, bring your heels together. Heels are together. If the feet were on the face of a clock, left foot will be pointing to 10 o'clock, right foot to 2 o'clock. 10 to 2, 10 past 10. Lift your toes off the floor and dump the weight into the heels. Keep the pelvic area tilted forwards and sink further down. Bend the knees, sitting down into the heels. Really make sure that the ribs aren't flaring out. You're not sticking your chest out. You're not curving in the lower back. You're not sticking your bum out. Tilt the pelvic area forwards. Sit down into the heels. Then lower the toes down onto the floor. Still keep more weight towards the rear of the feet. At 70-30 weight distribution, this should pretty much get the weight over the Yong 10 points. Head as if suspended from above, arms relaxed down by your side, touching the middle fingers to the thighs. At least keep that small gap underneath your armpits. At least let the air be able to get to your armpits. Fingers touching the thighs here. Head as if suspended from above. Then, if you can keep your balance and you feel comfortable, I want you to close your beautiful eyes. Closing your beautiful eyes. If you really have trouble standing and balancing with your eyes closed, you can do that visualization as if you're looking into the distance. Way, way, way beyond where you're standing. You can imagine you're looking into the background behind me, as if you're looking way out to sea and you're watching birds flying near those distant clouds against that beautiful blue sky. You can imagine you're looking deep into a forest and trying to catch a glimpse of a beautiful, shy, rare creature. That is, you're not being distracted by anything around you. We're not trying to block our senses out. We are closing our eyes, or some of us are, so we are blocking them out there. But we're not, with the other senses, we're not trying to block the world out. We're just not thinking about the things around us. We're aware of them. We're not thinking about them, though. They're just there, same as us. As we imagine, the head is as if it is suspended from above. Then I want you to relax all of your face muscles. Relax the muscles behind and around your eyes. And your eyes, if you do have them closed, they're not tightly closed. They're closed so you can't make any shapes or images from your surroundings out, but open enough so you can let a little bit of light in. Breathing in through your nose, if you can, of course. Gently touching the tip of the tongue to the top of the mouth, just behind your front teeth. Your teeth are together, but they're not clenched. The same with your lips. Gently tucking your chin in, not up or down, in. Keeping the jaw parallel, level with the floor. Have the feeling as if somebody's pulling on your ears to pull your neck back against the collar of a shirt. And with this pulling back on the jaw parallel to the floor, you feel those 7 vertebrae of the cervical region of the spine lengthening. You feel the skull lifting up off the spine, but you're not stretching your neck. The neck is nice and relaxed. You're really opening that gate at the base of the skull, the top of the spine, the jade pillow gate. Really feel like the head is floating on the neck, like a boat floats on water. So standing up the pose, Zhang Zhang. This is the Wu Ji posture. So Wu Ji, we know the state before Tai Chi. Tai Chi all about movement and that differentiation, that distinguishing between substantial and insubstantial. This is the state before that, before movement, before that differentiation. The void, the nothingness, the unlimited potential. Wu Ji. So you're trying to stand perfectly still. As relaxed as you can be and perfectly still. And it's not until you try to stand still that you notice how much movement there is in the body. All those micro adjustments, those firing and relaxing of muscles, the opening and closing of joints to keep you balanced. But try to be as still as you can be. Still in body and still in mind. And we know there are parts of the mind that don't like this stillness of body or mind. Those parts of the mind that thrive off that busy body and the busy mind. Those parts of the mind, they start to panic when you do really start to calm down. So they kick up all kinds of random thoughts of the future and the past, telling you need to think this, think that, worry about this, plan this, plot that, scheme about this. Tell you to fiddle with your clothes, scratch that itch. But resist the urge to move. Resist the urge to follow those thoughts. Remind yourself that you've set this time aside for doing this. And just bring yourself back to the moment and the body in stillness, balance, and relaxation. Take a breath in through the nose to the lower abdomen, and as you exhale, feel your shoulders releasing, relaxing with the out breath. Really feel the weight of your arms weighing your shoulders down. Keep that small gap underneath each armpit and really send your awareness out to the tips of the fingers. Feel the temperatures of the air with your fingertips. Feel the cloth of your trousers with your fingertips. But you're not thinking about it. You're just aware of it. You have a hollow underneath each collarbone called the shoulder's nest. Take a breath in through your nose to your lower abdomen. And as you exhale, feel those nests relaxing. releasing. Feel the chest muscles relax and release. The ribs relax and release, and all sinking down into your belly. Let the belly hang out. Take another breath in through your nose to your lower abdomen. And this time as you exhale, feel your chest sinking. Feel the back naturally rounding. Really feel the shoulder blades moving out to the sides and ever so slightly down. Really opening up that nerve plexus in between your shoulder blades. The area that we call the Tai Chi, the spirit gate, or the spirit path. Sink your ribs to fill your lower back. Really feel that space between the bottom of the ribs and the hips opening up. Breathe into your belly, relax the lower back. Pelvic area is tilted forwards, tilting the pelvic area, the sacrum forwards. This should take the curve, the lordosis, in the lumbar section of the back, and really open up the Mung Men point, the gate of your fate in the lower back. So you've opened up those 3 gates up your back. Really feel the spine lifting up inside the body. Feel the skull being pulled back by the ears and lifting up off the spine. At the same time, feel the face muscles sinking down. The shoulders, nest, the chest, the ribs all sinking down. And push the bottom bone of the spine towards the floor, forwards, and ever so slightly up. And all this with your mind, your intention, not tensing muscles to get this lengthening, this alignment of the spine. You're thinking this lengthening, this alignment of the spine, this neutral spine. So really feel yourself sitting down. Sit down a little bit further. Keep the pelvic area tilted forwards. Keep more weight towards the rear of the feet. Sit down. Really trying to engage your core muscles, and the deep frontal line, which the core muscles are part of. You know, the deep frontal line runs up the inside of the legs and the back of the legs, up through the pelvic floor, up through the inside of the rib cage, up into the neck and into the throat. And I believe it even goes up into the tongue. So you're really engaging your deep frontal line. So sitting down, make sure the lower back isn't curving in. Really sitting down, tucking the bum under, sitting down. And the pelvic area is tilted forwards, but it feels like it's hanging down from that suspension from above. So you're relaxing the hips, the buttocks, the pelvic floor, the perineum, the thighs. Soften your knees. Do a real mental loosening of your knees. Relax your shins, your calves. Loosen your ankles. Relax your feet. Feet flat on the floor. 70% of the weight going down through the triangles at the rear of the feet, 30% through the triangles at the front of the feet. Softening the insteps, that 50-50 divided weight between both legs. Without changing your posture or using any more muscles, breathing in, feel the whole of your skeleton lifting up inside the body. Feel all the spaces, all the joints in between the bones opening up and filling, flushing with that fluid that lubricates your joints. Feel the bones floating on that fluid that lubricates your joints. Remember, this is an intent thing, not a physical, muscular thing. Breathing in, feel the skeleton lifting up inside the bone, the skeleton lifting up inside the body, all the joints in between the bones opening up. And as you breathe out from the top of the head, all the way down to the soles of your feet, just feel the whole body relaxing down. Feel any tensions, any stresses, any worries draining and pouring down through the body. And imagine, visualize them going out through the bottom of the feet into the ground. You can imagine you bury them 2 or 3 feet underneath the ground, a meter or so into the ground. Just let them go. You don't need or want those tensions, so just let them go. Let them go. And when you're ready, I want you to open your eyes, reconnect to the room and the surroundings. Take a breath in, step out into a shoulder width stance, and just shake the body out. I like the sound back in. I think she's having internet problems. So feet hip distance, shoulder width apart, parallel to each other. Head as if suspended from above. From here, I want you to step forwards with the right foot. Touch the right toes down in front of the left toes. Step back, step forwards with the left foot. Touch the left toes down in front of the right toes. Step back, step forwards with throw the right hand over your left shoulder. Throw the left hand over your right shoulder. Throw the left hand over your right ribs. Throw the right hand over your left ribs. And you're just stepping from leg to leg. Just touching the toes down in front of you for balance. Touching the toes down in front of you for balance. So you're not committing any weight to that front leg or the front foot. You're just touching that the base of that front triangle to the floor. You can slide it across the floor as long as it doesn't stick to the floor. Sinking down, sitting down onto that supporting leg. So when the leg is at its fullest, you have more weight towards the triangle at the rear of the foot. That's 70-30 weight distribution. Softening the instep, sinking down and bouncing out. Like you're standing on a trampoline or on a bouncy castle. Sinking down and bouncing out. And using this sink and this bounce to control your arms. Your arms are just swinging on your shoulders, bringing both arms up in front of you. You're giving yourself a hug. Slapping the body with the palms, tapping the body as hard as is comfortable for you. To self-massage, you can use it as a body conditioning as well, so you can proper strike your body. I do this when I do my Zhao Li Feng method nowadays. I don't use occasionally I'll use the ball bearings and the stuff in the socks, but I just use my body to condition itself. I do the waist turning, I do the exercise like this, and I kind of hit my body as well. A bit like King Kong then. Oh, Kong. Oh, has anybody seen the trailer for Kong versus Godzilla? Oh, it looks awesome. Looks awesome. Hockey. Hockey. Feet together. Feet together. Fingers point towards each other. Palms face towards the floor. Sit down. Really sitting down into the heels. Pelvic areas tilted forward. Sink the chest, round the back. Breathing in. Push down through the heels. Push up through the body. And push your hands to the side. And turn your head. You can go to your left side first if you want to be very Tai Chi. Then breathing out, bring yourself back to the center, sit back down again, bring the fingers in. Breathing in, push down with the Dantian, push up through the body and push the head to the side and push the arms behind you. Try not to flare the ribs out or stick the chest out here. Still trying to take that lordosis, that curvature out of the lower back. Breathing in. And breathing out. So this is the wise owl turns its head, or as I like to call it, the David Blaine floating. And breathing out. Breathing in. Really loosening up the neck. Loosen up that gate at the base of the skull, the top of the spine there. Jade pillow gate. Loosen up that, the top two bones of the spine, the atlas and the axis. Really loosening up that area. Coming back to the center. Stepping up into a shoulder width stance. We'll have let's do this one. We'll do the look up and look down one. So we're going to do the first bit of the tiger frolic here. So we're going to make the fists, rolling in from the little fingers. The hands come up the sides of the body here. This undulation of the body. Then punching up and looking up. Make sure you're not flaring the ribs out or sticking the chest out or curving in the lower back. Then open up the hands and point the palms up towards the heavens, towards the ceiling. And then roll in from the little fingers and make the fists again. If the palms are open, the palms will be facing behind you. Then pull the sky down. Feel yourself pulling the sky down. So you're not pulling the body up, you're pulling the sky down, making the body heavy. Then start to push down through the heels, push up through the body, look down at the floor, push down with the hands. Just stretching the neck here. Then relaxing, just feel that stretch reflex pulling you back. And making the fists, breathing in, coming up. So you have this undulation up the body here. Like a super person taking off, stretching up. Make sure you're not flaring the ribs out or sticking the chest out or curving in the lower back. Open up the hands and point the palms up towards the heavens, stretching up like a tiger stretching high up into a tree. Then again, make the fist rolling in from the little fingers. You feel so pulling the sky down. So you're not pulling the body up, you're pulling the sky down, making the body heavy. Pulling the sky down, then push down with the palms. Push up through the body, push up to the top of the head, look down at the floor. Feel a lengthening all up the back of the body, from the toes along the soles of the feet to the top of the head, the forehead into the nose. Then relax and just feel that righting reflex and the stretch reflex pulling back. Making the fists, breathing in, pushing up, like jumping into the air like a super person taking off. Sink the ribs to fill the back. Open up the hands, point the palms up towards the heavens, stretching up. Then rolling in, making the fist, rolling in from the little fingers. Putting the hands, the palms behind you, but pulling the sky down. Making the body heavy, sinking down, sitting down. And then push down with the hands, push down with the feet, push up through the body. Look down at the floor. Then relax. Just feel the body pulling back. Hands onto the waist or onto the hips. Push down with your left foot. Roll from the heel towards the toes. Push up through the body. And push your head over to your side. As if you're trying to push the ear to touch the shoulder. Keep the shoulder nice and relaxed. Make sure you're not sticking the chest or the ribs out or curving in the lower back. Feel this lengthening all at the side of the body. So when you relax, you feel the body pulling back. Then push down with the other foot. Roll up through the body and push the head over to the other side. And again, not sticking the chest or the ribs out, curving in the lower back. Feel this lengthening all the other side of the body. Then relax. Just feel the body pulling back. And you're just pushing from side to side, pushing the head from side to side. So only really moving the neck and the head, but feel the strength of the earth, the strength of the whole body behind this movement. As we do it in all of our Tai Chi. Why not in our warming, loosening up exercises as well? Applying our Tai Chi principles. Okay, then let's loosen up that gate a little bit more. So really, we have the occipitus, the jade pillow gate part of the brain here is the cerebellum. So we're really going to work that area there. You know, the cerebellum associated with balance. It's what sends those neural signals out and receives them as well. So we're going to do the figure of 8, like an infinity sign, like a figure of 8, number 8 on its side, like a scale electric track. Okay, we're going to trace it with our eyes and our nose to really work up that area at the base of the skull, the top of the spine. So working that area, tracing your eyes and your nose around a infinity sign, the number 8 on its side, like a scale electric track. Go one way and go the other way. Probably find that one way is easier than the other. Okay, relax. So shoulders, relax your arms down, push the shoulders up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Then arms out in front of you, push the shoulders forwards and back, forwards and back. So just working the shoulders, but try and feel the movement supported by the whole body and supported by the world, by the earth. Arms out at the sides. Reach the left fingers over towards the left side. Feel the left arm pulling the right arm, then relax and feel that stretch reflex pulling back. Reach the right fingers over towards the right side. Feel the right arm pulling the left arm. And feel that stretch reflex pulling back, reaching from side to side. So really relaxing that gate in between the shoulder blades, the spirit gate, the spirit path. Relaxing the shoulders. Feeling the connectedness of your arms, the connectedness of your arms. Really subtle, this one. Okay, relax your arms down. Push the shoulders forwards and up. Back and down, forwards and up. Back and down, and nice and smooth. And again, feel the strength of the earth behind the movement. Feel the strength of the earth behind the movement, pushing up and back. Forwards and down. Breathing in and breathing out. Go one way and then the other way. And then alternate. Top one, nice one, sorted. Alternate. Feel the cross connection between the hips and the shoulders here. Feel the movement supported by the whole body. Feel the movement steered by the dantian, the lower dantian in the belly. The one way and the other way. Really feel yourself giving the lungs a nice massage here. Really massaging that gate in between the shoulder blades. Then shoulders down, turn the waist so one goes forwards, one goes back. Both shoulders up, turn the waist, one forwards, one back. Both shoulders up at the same time, both shoulders down at the same time. Turning the waist so you have this lengthening and contraction, this compression and expansion. So really feeling the strength of the earth, the strength of the whole body behind this movement. Go one way and the other way. And settling down, settling down. Okay, so we have the rib cage. The rib cage, 24 ribs, connected to those 12 vertebrae of the thoracic region of the spine. Touch the hands onto the shoulders, and we just try and move the rib cage here. So let's go from side to side with the rib cage. Be careful if you do have any problems with the back here. Moving from the rib cage and the thoracic region of the spine. And forwards and backwards. And all the way around. One way and the other way. And let it settle down. Let the rib cage hang down like a bell. Hanging down like a bell. Hands onto the waist or onto the hips. And go forwards and backwards. Be careful if you have any problems with the lower back here. Loosen up the lower back. Loosen up the sacroiliac joint here. Getting smaller, smaller and smaller. And then send this area around, like you're spinning a weighted hula hoop around your waist. Like spinning a weighted hula hoop around your waist. And still try to feel the strength of the earth behind this movement. And we try to in Tai Chi, let the pelvic area hang down plumb. So we're kind of throwing off here. Or one way and the other way. And apply as many of your Tai Chi principles as you can. And we know kind of when we do our pushing hands and everything, when we're doing some vigorous pushing hands, the pelvic area does go out of plumb as well. We are doing vigorous pushing hands. I know we're all getting to that age now, but we don't fancy doing that too much. But yeah, we give it a go every now and again. Oh, we haven't done it in a while, have we?
Because we haven't been allowed to touch each other, have we?
That sounds a bit wrong. Okay, pelvic area hanging down. Pelvic area hanging down. Bring your feet together. Hands onto the thighs. Hands onto the thighs. Sitting down. So we're going to sit down to the heels. Make sure the ribs don't flare out. The lower back isn't curving in. Sitting down. Sinking down until the hands are onto the knees. Then bouncing up and down. Giving the knees a good rub here. Little fingers rubbing down the outside of the knees, thumbs down the inside of the knees, fingers and palms over the kneecaps, the patellas. Really rubbing warm, loving, positive energy into your knees. And still try to feel the whole body being engaged. And send the knees around. Well, no, in our Tai Chi we keep our knees in line with the toes. And this is a really good loosen up exercise one way and the other way. Try to apply as many Tai Chi principles as you can. And let them settle down and push the knees back. I know we're not supposed to lock the legs out in Tai Chi as well, but this is a really good stretch for the back of the legs, the buttocks. Sink the ribs to fill the back. You want to feel this in the buttocks, the hamstrings and the calves. And sitting down. Sit down into the heels. Don't let the ribs flare out. Don't let the lower back curve in. Then roll towards the toes. Sitting down. Keep the knees in line with the toes. Sink the ribs to fill the back. So you're really working the plantar fascia along the soles of the feet. Then coming up. Rolling. Toe to heel. Coming up. Sink the ribs. Fill the back. Feel that stretch up there. Equal at the back of each leg. And sit down to the heels. When you can't go any further down to the heels, roll towards the toes. Roll down the middle of the feet. Keep the knees in line with the toes. Sink the ribs. Fill the back. Coming up. Coming up. And sinking down. You can keep the feet flat on the floor here if you want to. I'm going to roll towards my toes. And coming up. Moving from the dantian, coming up. Interlace the fingers. Loosen up the wrists. Step forwards, loosen up the wrists. Loosen up your ankle. Step back, loosen up the wrists. Loosen up your ankle. Sit back with the other foot, loosen up the wrists. Loosen up your ankle. Step back. Wrist and ankle.
Then shake the body out.
Shake the body out. Okay, so we're gonna do some stretching, some more body conditioning. Then we're gonna go through Master Li Bei Li's exercises. Then we're gonna do the I'll let you know when we get to that. We're gonna do one of Tan Ching Li's exercises. So stretching. So we'll go through. Which one should we do? We'll do the sinew stretches. So feet about the same distance as your hips or your shoulder part. Feet parallel to each other. Sit down into the heels, breathing in. Raise your arms up. And breathing out, pushing out with the palms. Sink the chest, round back. And you can feel yourself sitting down here, pushing forwards. Feel the strength of the earth behind this movement. Stretching up with the wrists. Make sure you're not flaring the ribs out, sticking the chest out. Breathing out, arms out to the sides. Keep that... pulling down. Bring the elbows down towards your flanks. Then breathing out. Bring the elbows as close together as you can get them. Sink the chest, round the back. Breathing in. Stretching up onto the tiptoes if you can. Make sure the ribs aren't flaring out, the lower back isn't curving in. Then breathing out, lowering yourself down. Keep as upright as you can. Make sure you're not curving in the lower back. Keep the knees in line with the toes. Keep the feet flat on the floor, dropping down. Then breathing in, roll the wrists. Breathing out, roll the wrists. Breathing in, coming up as if you're picking something up. Moving from your center, from the dantian. Breathing in. Breathing out, pushing out with the palms, sink the chest, round the back, sitting down, breathing in, stretching up with the wrists. Breathing out, arms up to the sides of the body, palms facing down this time. Again, try and keep the hands as high as your shoulders, but as you're breathing here, imagine you have really heavy elbows pulling your shoulders down. Breathing out, stretching out like you're stretching around the world in both directions. Then breathing in, imagine you're holding a big beach ball with your right hand over your left hand. Sink your chest, round your back, breathing out. Let the hands float down. Breathing in, raise the hands up as high as the shoulders. Breathing out, pushing out with the palms. Feel the strength of the earth behind this push. Breathing in, stretching up with your wrists. Breathing out, arms out to the sides. Breathing in, try and keep the hands as high as the shoulders, but you're breathing here, bring your elbows down towards your flanks. Breathing out, bring the elbows as close together as you can get them. Sink the chest, round the back. Breathing out, or breathing in, stretching up onto the tiptoes. Make sure the ribs aren't flaring out, the lower back isn't curving in. And breathing out, dropping down. Sinking down, sink the ribs, fill the back, going down to a squat, knees in line with the toes, feet flat on the floor. Breathing in, roll the wrists. Breathing out, roll the wrists. Breathing in, coming up, moving from your center, keep the pelvic area tilted forwards, coming up. Breathing in, like picking something up. Breathing out, pushing out, sink the chest. Round the back, breathing in, stretching up the wrists. Breathing out, arms out to the side, palms facing down this time. Breathing in, keep the hands as high as the shoulders if you can, bring the elbows down towards your flanks. Breathing out, stretching around the world. Stretching out, then breathing in, holding a big beach ball. Left palm facing down towards the right palm. Sink the chest. Round the back. Breathing out. Let the hands float down. Breathing in. And breathing out. in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, and breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, and breathing out. Breathing in and out, in and out, in, out, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in. Out. Okay, start to swing your arms. Swing your arms. Make sure you're not rocking forwards and backwards here. I know, preaching to the congregation here, but make sure you're not doing all this kind of stuff. So going straight up and straight down. Make sure the ribs aren't flaring out, lower back isn't curving in. Throwing any tension you might have accumulated in the I always taught them as the Dao-yin stretches, the sinew stretches there. Throwing any tension you might have accumulated in your shoulders, throwing it out, down through your arms, out through the fingers into the ground. Really have the feeling here as if you're going to jump off the ground. And in fact, as the arms get behind you, feel yourself going off the ground. Well, no, feel yourself raising the heels. So you're rolling between those two triangles along the soles of the feet. And then feel yourself going off the ground. Sinking down and bouncing out. Feel the body compressing against the ground as you land. And feet flat on the floor. Get your arms out to the sides of the body. Arms up to the sides of the body. Still have that feeling as if you're going to jump. But don't this time. Really have that feeling, that intent as if you are going to jump off the ground. As if you're going to jump off the ground. There's nothing wrong with jumping off the ground. You can do if you want to. Give all that connective tissue a nice shake out, giving all the internal organs connected to the spine a nice shake out. Then bring some waist turning into it to bring one arm in front of you, one arm behind you, one arm in front, one arm behind you, keeping nice and upright. I've noticed something that I do as a teacher when doing these like waist turning exercises and everything. I keep an eye on the screen in this case, but when I'm in a class, it's an eye on the student. So I tend to, my head doesn't move with my body, which it should do. So I'm playing around with taking my eyes, or letting my eyes follow or my head follow the movement of the rest of the body there, keeping my nose in line with the belly button. Okay. So feet hip distance, shoulder apart, parallel to each other. Sitting down, bring your arms up. So fingers pointing towards each other, palms facing up towards you this time. As if holding a big heavy belly here, like Santa Claus here, or like you're holding a big heavy rock, like Asterix, if you remember the Asterix comics, cartoons. Or you can imagine you have a rock in each hand, and these rocks are balancing each other out like two sides of an equally balanced scale. Sitting down into the posture, really sitting down, bending the knees. Sink the chest round the back. Looking into the distance. Sink the ribs to fill the lower back. Feel like you're sitting down onto a high stool, onto a big rubber ball, like a space hopper. Sitting down. Looking, in fact, we'll listen intently behind us here, so we can close our eyes for the moment. Closing our eyes for the moment and listening intently behind us. So pushing the neck back against the collar of a shirt, that lifting feeling in the head, that pulling back of the ears, jaw parallel to the floor, and listening intently behind you. Imagine somebody is whispering the secrets of Tai Chi behind you. Imagine Chen Man-ching is behind you, and he's checking your posture. He's been watching your form while you've been going through these movements here, and he's telling you, he's whispering to you in English, unless you understand Mandarin, he's whispering to you the secrets, if there are any secrets, or the key to unlocking your Tai Chi, that little tiny bit of a Chen Man-ching knowledge that's going to just make everything fall into place. He's whispering it to you behind you, but the words are being caught on the wind. So you're really listening intently behind you, trying to hear what little nuggets of little gems of his knowledge he has for you about your form, your movement. Feel the weight of the body draining down through itself. Still feel like you're holding onto a rock in each hand, or a big heavy rock, or holding a big heavy belly in. Sitting down into the heels. And breathing in. Open your eyes and raise your hands up to this one. Fingers point towards each other. Palms face towards the chest. Fingers can be as wide as the shoulders, no wider than that. They can be close together. Hands, about a hand. I got mine about handspan and a half to 2 times the handspan, palms away from the chest. I've got really long arms. They can be further away, they can be closer. Find your balance. Heavy elbows. Make sure the elbows are heavy, shoulders are nice and relaxed. Looking into the distance, so eyes open. Looking into the distance, you can imagine you're looking, watching those birds behind me flying near that blue sky, looking through the mist, the fog over the sea, watching those birds flying near the distant clouds. You can imagine you're looking deep into a forest or a jungle, trying to catch that glimpse of that beautiful rare creature. You can imagine you're looking over the width of a really large river, and on the other side of the river there's a big hill, and on the side of this hill there is the object of your desire, and you're looking, trying to look at that object in the distance. So you do tend to do that when you are looking to the distance. You tend to lift the head up and look. And this helps us with raising the spirit of vitality to the top of the head. Pelvic area is tilted forwards, hanging down. Again, you can feel like you're sitting down. Feel like you're sitting down onto a giant space hopper. And you've got the handles in your hand here. Keep the hands open. Feel the balance of your arms. Imagine if a feather were to land on one of your arms, this tiny weight would tip the balance and set you into motion. So again, standing pose, dang dang. This is the Cheng Bao, the universal posture, the stand like a tree, the man standing. This is we have this in Tai Chi, in I Chuan, in Bagua, Xing I Chuan. This is, Wang Xingzai was the guy who synthesized and created I Chuan, intent fist or intent boxing. He said he was a real fighting man when he was a young man, but in his later life, and he taught lots of different postures, but in his later life it said he only taught this posture, and he taught it in hospitals all over China for the health of the body. It's really, really good for the health of the body and for the health of the mind. We put those intents into it, those imaginings. We know the nervous system not knowing the difference between imaginary and real, so if we can really imagine something, Imagine doing something, then the nervous system will instruct the body into positioning to perform that task that we are imagining. Really engaging all those little micro muscles that most people can't use or have no idea that they exist. It's all done through stillness. Stillness of body and stillness of mind. So again, make sure you're not following any thoughts, random thoughts of the future or the past. Try and stay present in the moment. And again, there are those parts of the mind that don't like this stillness, that will kick up all kinds of random thoughts of the future and the past. Telling you to think this is more important to think this, worry about this, stress about this, oh, come on, worry, worry, worry. Because it feeds off of those worries, of those stresses, that wandering monkey mind, the magpie mind. So don't follow those thoughts. Every time you notice your mind has wandered off into thinking, just bring it back. It doesn't matter how many times you bring it back, it's that practice of bringing back that we get the benefits from. And try to still your body as much as you can. We're trying to relax the muscles as much as we can. Relax the body, get the body as balanced and relaxed as we can. And we'll start to add some intent. So you imagine you're sitting down onto a large space hopper, a ball, or onto a high stool. And you can imagine in between the fingers, and in between the fingers and the thumbs, you have balls of cotton wool. And you're holding onto them without crushing them or dropping them. Imagine in each hand, you have a balloon made out of tissue paper, and you hold onto that balloon without crushing it or dropping it. You can imagine in the crook of each elbow you have a slightly bigger balloon, a tissue paper balloon. So a balloon, it's not got a wire frame, it's just an inflated tissue paper balloon. And you hold onto those balloons in the crook of the elbow without crushing them or dropping them. You can imagine in between your neck, your chest, and your chin, you have a balloon, and you're holding onto that without crushing it or dropping it. Underneath each arm, you have a balloon made out of tissue paper, and you're resting your arms onto these without crushing them or without dropping them. In the inguinal crease here, you're holding onto tissue paper balloons without crushing them or dropping them. In between the legs, around the genital area, you have a balloon. And you're holding onto that without crushing it or dropping it. In between the legs, you have two balloons. And you're holding onto them without crushing them or dropping them. Then imagine, in between all these balloons, you have more balloons made out of tissue paper, and you're holding them all without crushing them or dropping them. So holding them all without crushing them or dropping them. Drop as much weight onto the heels as you can without the toes coming off the ground. You can imagine you're leaning against the wall, holding onto all these balloons without crushing them or dropping them. Then imagine between the fingers, all the fingers, you have elastic bands pulling the fingers together. Between the little fingers and the thumbs, elastic bands pulling them together. So you're holding the fingers apart so as not to crush those balls of cotton wool, holding the thumbs and the little fingers apart so as not to crush that balloon, but not so much that you drop them. Imagine between the fingers of the two hands you have elastic bands or lightweight springs pulling the fingers towards each other. So you're moving the hands apart so as not to crush these balloons in between your arms. Imagine between your wrists and the back of the neck you have springs that are pulling your hands towards your neck and your neck towards your hands, so you're pushing the neck back and the hands forward so as not to crush these balloons, but not so much that you drop them. Imagine cross connection from the elbows to the knees. You have springs pulling the elbows in and down. So you're moving them out so as not to crush those balloons, but not so much that you drop the balloons. Between the wrists and your ankles, you can do the cross connection here. You have lightweight springs pulling the hands down. So you're moving them in and down. So you're moving them up, forwards and out so as not to crush the balloons, but not so much that you drop the balloons. Between the knees, the two knees, you have springs pulling the knees in towards each other. So you're pushing the knees out so as not to crush those balloons, but not so much that you drop the balloons. Feeling all those expansions and contractions. Have all those intents, but relax all the muscles you'd use to do all those things. So have all the intents, you're sending all those signals from the brain, from the cerebellum, those motor neurons telling those muscles to fire, to relax, the joints to open, to close. But you're relaxing all the muscles you'd use to do that, but you're still sending all those signals. That in turn, the body in turn is sending back those sensory neurons back to the cerebellum, telling how the body is adjusted, how it responds to all these pressures, expansions and contractions. So the cerebellum is in turn sending back those motor neurons, telling the muscles to fire or relax, but you're relaxing the body as much as you can, but still have all the intent, looking into the distance, leaning against the wall, sitting down onto a large ball. As much weight as you can get into the heels without the toes coming off the ground. You can imagine, you can again feel the skeleton lifting up inside the body. Breathing. Nice deep abdominal breaths. The belly, the back, The whole of the abdomen area, lower abdomen, lower back, the flanks, they expand with the in-breath. Contract with the out-breath. And again, make sure your mind isn't wandering away. Keep bringing it back every time you notice it has wandered away. Again, it doesn't matter how many times you bring it back. It's the practice that we get the benefits from. And take a breath in. And breathing out, lower the arms down. Lower your arms down. Turning the wrist. Turning the wrist. So doing it like this for the moments when the leg is at its fullest. The hip is more open than closed. So sitting down to that supporting leg. Knee stays in line with the toes, more weight towards that triangle at the rear of the foot when the leg's at its fullest. And again, I'm just going to get my head to follow the rest of the... I don't know if it's a teacher thing. I should put a post out to see what it is. A teacher thing who keeps an eye on the students to look straight ahead. And that can, I think, I don't know, I don't get it as much now, but I was getting problems with my neck. That could be because I'm throwing away my principles when I'm teaching to keep an eye on my students. Keep my nose in line with the belly button, sinking down. Then let the toes follow the movement of the waist. So pushing, levering the toes away from the body. So we're not just doing this from the hip, but we're just pushing, levering, sinking down to that supporting leg and pushing down the upper body and levering the toes out to the side. Levering the toes out to the side. This is an empty stance, dropping down, spiraling down. Feel the bones as they become more weight-bearing. Feel them rotating. Feel that nice, even rotation all the way up through the body. Feel the muscles tensing as much against the bones to give stability to these movements. And that just enough, you should be able to feel the elasticity of the connective tissue. Like we had all those intents in the standing posture we just did. But it's all just try to feel the elasticity of the connective tissue to get that biotensegrity of the body. The elasticity of the bones, the muscles against the bones. Feel that elasticity. Make sure the ribs aren't flaring out, lower back isn't curving in. Then change to raising the heel. Change to raising the heel. Pivoting on the big toe. Still an empty stance, spiraling down, rolling to the foot from the toes down towards the heels. You're activating that connective tissue along the soles of the feet, the plantar fascia. Make sure the ribs aren't flaring out, lower back isn't curving in, sitting down. Feel that compression and expansion. Sinking down, compression and expansion. And send it up through the body and out to the fingertips and up to the top of the head. Then raise your left toes, right heel, left toes, right heel. Then raise your right toes, left heel, right toes, left heel. And then just let this settle down on its own. Okay, so Master Li Bei Li's exercises. So standing in this one, I was taught this to stand a little bit pigeon toed, so turning the toes in. If this is at all painful on the knees, you can do a shoulder width stance. If that's painful on the knees, you can turn the toes out ever so slightly. It's kind of, we know we work to our capabilities. We shouldn't damage ourselves in our training. Okay, pigeon toes. Make sure the knees aren't pronating and keep the knees in line with the toes. Sitting down. Sitting down. Make sure the lower back isn't curving and you're not flaring the ribs out. Pelvic area is tilted forward, sitting down. So Master Li Bei Li was a Chen stylist. He was a right bruiser. I did meet him once. Didn't get to train with him, but I trained these exercises. These are his exercises. He was apparently a Shaolin Kung Fu guy, and then he challenged a Tai Chi teacher, Master Yu, I think his name was, and was thrashed by him, so he kowtowed and became his student. And later he became a student of Lu Tangbo, who was Master Lau Kim Hong's teacher as well. So, yeah, who did train with Chen Manqing, Lu Tangbo. Okay, so sitting down. These are... You could say this is a Qigong exercise. I bet that you could say they're Neigong exercise as well, or hard Qigong. So bring your elbows as close together as you can get them. Sink the chest around the back, fanning towards the face. Fanning towards the face. This is the wrists, not the fingers. Using the wrists, not the fingers. Fanning towards the face. Sitting down. You can try and feel the strength of the earth behind these movements. Only really moving the wrists. But try and feel the movements supported by the whole body. And when I was taught these, I was told to do 100 of each one. 100 of each one. We won't do them. Won't do that. I tend to just do them till they feel right nowadays. Do them till they feel right. Yeah, Li Bei Li, he travelled all over the world. He was in his young days, when he was a young man, he was a butcher. His nickname was the Butcher, which is a good nickname for a martial artist. But then he became a tour guide. He travelled all over the world, and apparently he travelled to America. Turn the hands over, fan away from the face, and he did teach at the In Santo Jeet Kune Do Academy. You know, Dan Santo was one of Bruce Lee's students. He appeared in the film The Game of Death. He's one of the leading exponents of Jeet Kune Do in the world at the moment. There's a quote out there, Dan Santo saying that Lee Bailey was really good, really strong. There's another guy that Nigel's always talking about as well, Don Drager. He trained with Lee Bailey as well, and he was in awe of Lee Bailey. Okay, arms out in front of you. Arms out in front of you. Pull the fingers towards the body, point the fingers up towards the ceiling. Be careful if you've got long nails here as you snap your hands down. Snapping the hands down. Snap the hands down. Like a Venus flytrap, like a crocodile's jaw, snapping down. Snapping down. So apparently Lee Bailey used to close schools down. And the way they close a school down is the teacher arrives at their, the challenger arrives at their school and challenges the teacher to a fight or a test of strength. And if the teacher loses, then the teacher packs up shop and he gets out of Dodge. He leaves town. There's a story about when he moved to, I think it was in the southern Malaysia. When he moved to the town where he moved to, there was something like 60 schools there. After a year or so, there was only a couple of Chemanching martial arts schools there. He shut them all down. Shut down! Okay. Bring the elbows, so like we did in the sinew stretches, bring the elbows as close to the body as you can. Be careful make sure you're not locking your elbows out here. We're just going to poke out to the side. So drop down, compress down, and poking out to the side. So compressing the body against the ground and pushing out to the side. Pushing out. Apparently Lee Bailey, he just used to keep going. He used to just like go into when he's fighting, just wail in like this, just wail towards him, like battering in. So these exercises, they look really daft, but you'd never told Lee Bailey that they look daft. He would have battered you. As I said, I met him on my first trip to Malaysia. Didn't get to train with him. He wasn't really a fighting man, Annie. He was only teaching his exercises for health. He died a couple of years ago, Lee Bailey did. But when I did meet him, he was there, and he was like kind of quiet, but he was just looking around like he wanted to fight people. And it was at that time that I was, I'd just been the European champion as well. So he did look like he wanted to fight me. He did look like he wanted to fight me. I still got a battering. I got beaten when I was out there by another high-ranking martial artist who had won the Southeast Asian pugilist competition the same year as Dan Doherty won his gold medal. I can't remember his name, but he got a gold medal in the weight category below Dan Doherty. Okay, flapping your wings, like you're flapping your wings, like you're trying to fly off to Africa. Flapping. Sink the chest, round the back, sitting down, coming up. Let's bring some waist turning into it, so turn to the side, to the center, to the other side, to the center, to the side, to the center, to the side. So those who have been training with me for a long time, you know, when I first learnt these exercises, we used to practice them a lot in class. Did them a lot. And like all things, they kind of, well, I don't know, not all things, but with me, things drop off. And it's nice to pick them up again. See the benefits of them. We're not going to do all of them. We might do them all next week if you can find your rolling pin. We'll go through them all next week with the rolling pins. Whew. Okay, so this one, be careful if you have any problems with the hips or the lower back here. This is the one, like the toy soldier one, this one is. So we're going to lock the legs out. Make sure, if you do have any problems with the knees here, that you don't lock the legs out here. Pelvic area is tilted forwards, hanging down. Push the hands towards the floor from the shoulders. Push them up. Straighten the legs. And just lift one leg up and the other leg. Lifting up. So really working your core here. So you can tense all this area here. So tense the belly, tense the buttocks, the pelvic floor, the perineum. Pushing down. Sink the chest round the back like a toy soldier. Like a toy soldier. Marching. Okay, feet hip distance, shoulder apart, parallel to each other. Drop the weight of the body onto, so you can mirror me here. Drop the weight of the body onto your right leg. Turn the left toes out to the side. Roll, step straight forward. So it is Chemanching style, so stepping straight forward and maintaining your feet shoulder apart. Bring your arms up, so smothering here. Smothering. You can take quite a long stance here if you want to. And kind of, you can imagine you've got like a Swiss gym ball and you're squeezing it in. Imagine it's on the surface of water, waist deep water, and you're pushing it down into the water. You can imagine you have like Swiss gym balls or those two balloons in between the knees and you're compressing them down. Compressing them down. It's a whole body, really working the core. This is why I said these, you could say these are Neigong exercises. You're really working this area here. Feeling the elasticity of the body. You can bring the breath into it so you can breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Smothering. It's kind of a, imagine for the martial application of this, somebody's like just, they've kicked off and you're just smothering, just holding them down, just shutting everything that they do down. So you use the pushing hand skills and just shut them down. Shut down. So I am tensing the buttocks, like I do when I do my Neigong, when I press forward. Changing stance, other foot forward, compressing. Compressing. So apparently Li Bei Li, he did learn the Chen Manqing form, but he didn't really teach it, didn't really practice it. He was a Chen Manqing stylist. He said in his younger days, his focus was fighting. Tai Chi for fighting. There is some footage of him doing his pushing hands. He was the one who would, and he's very convincing as well. I watched it the other day. People come towards him, push hands, and he will launch them, and they will go flying back. And it's not the jumping, like you see a lot of stylists do, like the hopping. It's like they are flying off him, and he throws them into a chair and sits them down. So his aim is impeccable, or was impeccable. Like throw them all over the place. He had in the video I saw, he had chairs all around him, and like people coming towards him, he was throwing them into different chairs, and they were flying off him. They weren't jumping; they were flying off him. He was, yeah, very, very good, very, very good. Okay, change your legs. So we're going to make the beak, the single whip beak. So all the fingers to the thumbs. Okay, compressing down, and then this is going up. Going to make sure the ribs aren't flaring out, the lower back isn't curving. So compressing down, like you can pushing balloons down into water, breathing in, compress, breathing out. So make sure when you're going up, the strength of the earth is going straight up into the wrists, not going out through the ribs or getting stuck in the curvature of the lower back. Breathing in, keep the head up, looking into the distance. You can feel the spiral here, so you can really exaggerate it. Spiraling up through the body, breathing in, breathing out. In and out. In and out. Okay, change legs. Coming down. Breathing in, breathing out. Make sure you're not locking your elbows out. If you lock the elbows out, that strength of the earth will get stuck in the locked out elbows. And you put a lot of pressure onto the elbows as well. We don't want that. Compressing like compressing a balloon into water or a ball, striking up. Okay. Feet hip distance, shoulder apart, parallel to each other. Interlace the fingers. Sitting down, mind into the dantian, head as if suspended from tongue on the roof of the mouth, and just shake the booty. Turn the dantian from side to side, shaking out all the connective tissue, all the muscles, releasing any tension in the myofascia, any knots. Shaking out the muscles, feeling that connectedness, giving all the internal organs connected to the spine a nice shake around. One hand onto the chest, the other hand onto the belly. Either hand. Breathing in. We want the hand on the belly to rise with the in-breath. Breathing out, the hand on the belly falls. The out-breath. Breathing in, we don't want a major rising and falling of the hand on the chest. So make sure you're not... Okay. Drop the breath down. If you need to, you can breathe out through the mouth. Get the breath to settle down. So really good exercises. Instead, I've only picked them up again recently. Yeah, I'm loving them again. Get you nice and warm. Get your breath up. Get your heart rate up. Yeah, they really are. I made a video over the weekend in it, and I called the video, what did I call it? Raising Vitality. It really does pick you up. You know, most Tai Chi exercises are slow and you don't get the heart rate up, you don't really get that warm, not sweating warm anyway, you don't get the breath up. Those exercises they're quite yang, but we are looking for yin and yang in Tai Chi. We know we cleave towards the yin in Chen Manqing style Tai Chi, but it doesn't mean that we don't have any yang. Breathing in to the dantian, to the lower dantian. Visualize that ball in the belly, about 3 fingers below the belly button and in the center of the body. Visualize it starting off about the size of a golf ball. As you breathe into it, feel it grow. About the size of your fist. Breathing out, it shrinks. Breathing in, it grows. It's that ball growing and shrinking in your belly that pushes the hand on the belly out. So you should feel it pushing towards the back as well. So take the hand off the chest and place the back of the hand onto the lower back. Sitting down, so you can flatten the lower back. Breathing in to the dantian. Feel the belly, the hand on the belly pushing out, and now the hand on the back pushing out. And going back in. So if you have a major lordosis, curvature in of the lower back, you probably won't feel any movement here because you're putting too much weight onto the lower back. And I know, again, I'm preaching to the congregation here. But you know, it's just the way I teach, isn't it? This is what I say the things that are going through my head when I am doing my training. These are all the things I am going through as I'm practicing. And just as we stood here not really moving, really try to make the out breath a little bit longer than the in breath. You really shouldn't be able to hear the breath. The breath should be nice and light. The watchwords for the breath wants to be long, smooth, fine, and quiet. Long, smooth, fine, and quiet. Okay, relax your arms down. Breathing in. And breathing out. So I'm not stretching. Just going to go through some Qigong. Breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Just 3 moves. Breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. I thought I'd add this one now. I learnt this one from watching a video. It was a video as well back in the day. A video, breathing in. And it was Chen style Qigong, the warm-up exercises. And they were done by John Stacks. John Stacks was a roper in Enter the Dragon. He was doing a Chen style Tai Chi video. Thought that would connect with it. We had the Bruce Lee down in Santo connection with Li Bei Li's exercises. So we've got the John Stacks Bruce Lee connection now for this. Simple, but yeah, really nice. Bit of Qigong, breathing in. Feel the resistance of the air. You can feel like you're pushing balloons down into water here. Breathing in. Lifting the air up. This is the immortal strokes its beard. It's like stroking a big long beard. You can feel like you're pushing those balloons down as well. So pushing down, you feel something pushing up. Breathing in. Feel yourself pushing the air away. Pushing the air away. Breathing in. Feel the resistance of the air. Stroking the beard, pushing the balloons down. Breathing in. We held this as a standing posture earlier. Breathing out, pushing the balloons down. Breathing in. Feel the strength of the earth behind the movement. So feel the movement supported by the whole body and the world. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathe in. So balance the yang of Li Bei Li's exercises with the yin of that Qigong there. From John Stacks, rub the hands. Point the hands towards the belly. Ladies left over right, gentlemen right hand over left. Hands neither touching each other or touching the waist. Tongue on the roof of the mouth, sitting down, breathing in to the dantian. Close your eyes. And just let your mind, your awareness, your thoughts, your intention, your breath, everything settle into the lower dantian, that area about 3 finger widths below the belly button and in the centre of the body. Any saliva that has pooled in your mouth, swallow it down. We know the tongue on the roof of the mouth is, they call it the hui yin, the meeting of yin and yang. And any saliva that pools there is said to be like a medicine, full of qi. We know the qi is not restricted by the tissue inside the body. It can travel through it when guided by the mind. So swallow that saliva down and imagine it dropping straight down into the lower dantian. Where the mind goes, the qi will follow, dropping down through the tissue into the lower dantian. In the dantian, the lower dantian, it gets refined, turned into something more. We know the lower dantian is often referred to as the cauldron or the cooking pot or the furnace. It's the place where we refine our internal energies, turning them into something more. So guide the qi from the saliva down into there, with the qi and the rest of the body will be guided into there, get refined, get fired, turned into something else, and then distributed around the body to where it's needed. We know the catalyst, the spark for this internal alchemic process is the mind, the intent, the I. So let the mind settle into the dantian, breathing into the dantian, center of gravity around the dantian. Breathing in and out. Then bring the hands to rest on this area. Take the thumb from the outside hand and touch the very center of the inside hand, the Lao Gong point. Breathing in, suck the belly and do the tensing of the buttocks, the back of the legs. Pull the hands over the hips. Breathing out, relax the belly, relax the tensing. Rub the hands down the hips, down the thighs. Open your eyes. Rub hands. Rub your neck. Rub your neck. Like you're rubbing in a magic cream here, a magic liniment, magic ointment. To self-massage as well, so rub as hard as is comfortable for you. Rub the shoulders, either under or over the clothes, up to you. Shoulders. Like you're rubbing in a magic cream, a magic liniment, magic ointment. Give the lower back a good rub in the kidney area. Give the belly a rub. You can imagine you're sending the dantian around. One way and the other way. Up and down. All the way around. With the hips, inguinal crease, the buttocks, a nice rub. The thighs, the knees. Loving the knees, rubbing warm, loving, positive energy into your knees. Your shins, your calves, your ankles, if thou could get down there. And anywhere you might have any aches and pains, give it a bit of a rub. And we can finish there. So, are there any questions about anything that we've done? You're all muted, so if you do have any, then you'll have to unmute yourselves. Internet problems, Sam?
Yeah, laptop problem. I'm on my phone now.
Okay. You sorted it. I bet you had one of those hot moments. Oh, no. Moments, but
Well, I got very cross and then I thought, well, that and coming to do a nice calming Tai Chi type thing is probably not a good combination. So.
You've got this stuff. Correcting where the mind goes as soon as it goes there. That's, yeah, brilliant. So any questions about anything we've done? I'm not muted, am I? No. Are you muted, Si? Do you want me to unmute? I can't unmute you, Si. Oh. That's to unmute. There you go. I think I muted you again, Si.
Oh. I'm back in the room.
You're back in the room.
Back in the room, cheers. Thank you. Getting away from that end. I don't know why, but this is not scroll up and show it for some reason.
Technology.
We'll get the hang of this technology one day.
Yeah, just
another 4 years of lockdown, I probably won't get the
repetition, the mother of all skill. Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Keep getting it wrong. You'll always get it wrong. All this wrong 4 years. Go on.
I don't know.
Have we already got another 4 years of this?
I think probably before it raises the entire population, probably David. Yeah.
Like the 12 monkeys, we'll be living underground, sending Bruce Willis back in time to find the cause of it, won't we?
Well, those lot will be alright because we know things, don't we?
Oh, we're in the know. Okay, so we've had quite an energetic one tonight, so make sure you do get yourself a drink of water. Water in water before you get beer or wine or tea or coffee or anything. Yeah, and just say, if you can find your rolling pin that we used to use in the past, find that and we will go through all of the exercises next week. Have you got a rolling pin, Si? Did you ever get...
Yeah, I've got one that regularly hits me around anyway, so I was going to use that one.
Yeah. Okay then, so... Yeah, I will bid you a good day. Great session. I'm sweating. I'm buzzed up. I was kind of, I was feeling lethargic at the start of that, but I feel energized now, so it's good stuff.
Yeah, really good.
So I'll see you next week, guys, yeah?
Thank you very much.
Great to see you guys.
See ya.
See ya. Zoom wave.